Welcome to my channel. What if I told you that you could improve your English without speaking a word? That you could train your brain to think in English anytime, anywhere, even when you're silent. For 30 days, I spoke English only in my mind. No notebooks, no teachers, just my thoughts. What happened shocked me. This story will show you how thinking in English can quietly transform your speaking. Stay till the end, because what I learned on day 17 will change how you learn English forever. Chapter 1. The first day of silence. The first day felt strange. I had made a simple rule for myself. From now on, I will not speak in my native language, not even in my head. I will think only in English. It sounded easy at first, but when I opened my eyes that morning, my mind automatically started speaking in my native language. I had to stop it. I reminded myself, no, English only. But what do I say? What does thinking in English even look like? So I started with small, easy things. I looked at the ceiling. I wake up. I saw the curtain. I see the window. I sat up slowly. I sit on the bed. That was it. Just simple, present tense sentences. I wasn't speaking, just thinking, in silence. My own thoughts were becoming English sentences. It felt slow, but also exciting, like I had entered a new world, a quiet world where English lived in my head. I walked to the bathroom. I open the door. I brush my teeth. I look in the mirror. I wasn't using any grammar rules. I wasn't worried about mistakes. I was just naming what I saw and what I did. And for the first time, I was seeing English not as a subject, but as a way of life. It was around me. It was inside me. But soon, I hit a wall. I wanted to say something like, I feel fresh, but I didn't know how. I paused. I tried to translate from my language, but then I stopped myself. No translation, I whispered. Just guess. So I said, I feel new. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. It gave me confidence. I was learning by doing, not by rules. As the day went on, I kept going. Every action was a sentence. I drink water. I walk slowly. I wear my shoes. It was boring sometimes, repetitive. I forgot words. I repeated the same sentence again and again. But I didn't stop, because deep inside, I felt something changing, something waking up. In the afternoon, I went for a walk. I looked at trees. The trees are green. I saw children playing. They are running. I passed a bakery. I smell bread. I realized I didn't need a classroom. I didn't need a teacher. My environment was my teacher, and my mind was my classroom. By evening, I was tired. Thinking in English all day was hard. My brain was not used to it. It wanted to rest. It wanted to return to my native language. But I didn't let it. I stayed silent, and I kept thinking in English. Simple thoughts, simple words. I even tried to plan the next day in English. Tomorrow, I wake up at 7. I make breakfast. I study English. Just planning felt like speaking, but in silence. The day ended with a strange feeling. I hadn't spoken English aloud. I hadn't used any grammar rules. I hadn't memorized anything. But I had spent one full day living in English, inside my mind, and that felt powerful. It felt real. It felt like a small light had turned on in a dark room. And I knew if I kept going, that light would grow. I smiled before going to bed. My last thought was, I can do this. And that was the most beautiful sentence of the day, because it came not from a book, but from inside me. That night, for the first time, I dreamed in English. Chapter 2. My brain starts to fight. Day 2 began with a strange kind of headache, not the kind that comes from noise or stress, but the kind that comes from using your brain in a new way. I woke up and forgot to think in English. My mind naturally started in my native language again. It felt comfortable, easy, automatic, but I remembered my goal. I whispered in my mind, no, English only. Still, it was harder than yesterday. My brain didn't want to do it. It felt slow, heavy, even lazy. It was like dragging a heavy bag up a hill. I said, I get up. Then my mind replied in my native language, no one is watching. Just relax. I fought that voice. No, I said again, silently. This is important. I went to the kitchen. I make tea. I boil water. I open the fridge. The sentences were simple, just like yesterday, but now they felt heavier. My brain didn't want to build them. It wanted to go back to comfort. My mother tongue. That's when I realized something important. When you push your mind to grow, it fights back. That resistance means change is happening. I sat at the table. My tea was hot. I watched the steam. I tried to describe it in English. The steam is white. It goes up. It disappears. It was a small exercise, but it helped me focus. It reminded me, I don't need big fancy words. I just need simple sentences, clear thoughts. But the resistance didn't stop. All day long, my brain tried to switch back. It was sneaky. I would think, I go to, and suddenly, my next word came in my native language. I caught it. I corrected it, again and again. And every time I fixed it, I felt stronger, like I was training a muscle. At one point, I got frustrated. I said in my mind, this is stupid. I can't do this. Then I paused. I had said that sentence in English. Even my complaints were now in English, and that made me laugh. I realized even frustration can be part of learning if you keep it in English. I started using tricks. I would talk to myself in short phrases. Now I eat. Now I clean. Now I study. These phrases helped me stay focused. I wasn't translating. I wasn't overthinking. I was just speaking to myself, quietly, naturally, like a child, learning a language again. The biggest moment came in the evening. I was walking outside. The sun was setting. I saw people talking, kids playing, cars passing, and I began to describe everything in my head. The sky is orange. The boy runs fast. That car is blue. I felt something shift. For the first time that day, I was not forcing it. I was enjoying it. I was present, and English was helping me see the world in a new way. But I still made mistakes, many. I said, he go to shop. Then I corrected, he goes to the shop. I wasn't sure about the rule, but I knew how it sounded, and that was enough. I was learning not just with logic, but with feeling. Before bed, I wrote a few thoughts in my mind. Day 2 is hard. My brain wants to stop, but I don't stop. And that last sentence, I don't stop, it gave me strength. Because it wasn't just a sentence, it was a promise to myself, a promise that this path, even if slow, would lead to fluency. And that's when I understood something clearly. Fluency does not begin with speaking fast. Fluency begins with thinking slow, thinking right, and thinking every day, even when your brain fights back. Chapter 3. The Mirror Talk Secret. Something new happened on day 4. I didn't plan it. It was early morning. The sun was just beginning to rise. I walked into the bathroom and saw myself in the mirror. My eyes looked tired. My hair was messy. But instead of thinking something in my native language, I looked at myself and whispered, "You look sleepy." Then I paused. It surprised me. It felt real, like I was talking to someone. But there was no one else. It was just me. I stood there longer than usual, and I said another sentence. "How are you today?" And then I answered, "I'm okay. I slept late." The words were soft, quiet, not loud, but something had changed. For the first time, English wasn't just in my mind. It was coming out of my mouth, softly, slowly, but surely. I was speaking to myself in English, and it felt amazing. Use graded readers. These are special books made for English learners. They come in levels, a 1, a 2, B1, and so on. Choose a level that feels a little easy, not hard. Remember, it's better to read 10 easy books than to give up halfway through one difficult book. 2. Choose what you enjoy. Do you like adventure stories, romance, science fiction, comedy? Start there. If you enjoy the story, your brain will be more active and you'll learn faster. Don't feel like you must read serious books to learn English. 3. Try translations of books you already know. If you've read The Little Mermaid, you'll know what they mean. If you've read The Little Prince or Harry Potter in your own language, read it again in English. Because you already know the story, you'll understand more and you'll pick up the English easily. Don't be afraid to stop. If you start a book and it feels too hard or too boring, that's okay. Close it. Pick another one. Reading should feel relaxing, not stressful. This is your learning journey. Here's something you might not expect. You don't need to understand every word. If you understand the overall idea of the sentence or the story, that's enough. When we read in our own language, we often skip words too. You're training your brain to get the meaning, not translate everything word by word. So next time you sit down and read a book, you'll understand the meaning of the sentence. Remember, you're not just reading a book. You're building your English quietly, naturally, and happily. Every easy page you read is a small win, and all those small wins, they add up to real, strong progress. Here's a quick challenge for you. Find one book, just one, that feels easy and fun. Read the first 2 pages. If you're enjoying it, keep going. If not, try another. Learning English doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be full of grammar charts and vocabulary lists. Sometimes, the best way to learn is just to read a story you love. So go find that story and enjoy it. The science behind reading. How your brain learns naturally. Let's take a step back and get a little nerdy. But don't worry, I'll keep it fun. Have you ever wondered why reading works so well for language learning? What happens in your brain when you read in English? In this chapter, we're going to explore the science behind it all. Spoiler alert, Your brain is smarter than you think. How your brain learns English through reading. When you read in English, it's not just about memorizing words and grammar rules. In fact, memorization is often the slowest and least effective way to learn. Instead, reading works because it connects new words to ideas and concepts, things that your brain already understands. This is why you'll often find that you just know what a word means after reading it in context. Think of it like this. Learning English through books is like soaking up knowledge while relaxing. It's not about forcing yourself to remember or study hard. Your brain is always working in the background, making connections and helping you learn in a natural, stress-free way. The magic of incidental learning. Here's where it gets cool. When you read, you learn a ton without even trying. This is called incidental learning. It means you're picking up new information without even knowing it. Your brain is so good at this. For example, you may come across a new word in a book, but because the sentence gives you clues about the meaning, your brain figures it out almost automatically. This process happens all the time as you read, and it's incredibly powerful. Let's break it down. 1. Vocabulary. When you read, your brain doesn't just memorize words. It understands the meaning of words by connecting them to other ideas in the story. For example, if you're reading a book about a boy who's nervous before giving a speech, your brain links the word nervous to the idea of feeling worried or anxious. Next time you hear the word nervous, you'll already have a solid understanding of it without having to look it up. That's your brain working. 2. Grammar. Grammar rules can be tricky, right? But reading helps you see grammar in action. You'll naturally start recognizing how sentences are put together and how tenses, like past and present, are used. In fact, reading helps you understand grammar more effectively than memorizing lists of rules. For example, instead of memorizing if plus past tense, would plus verb, you'll see it used in real conversations and stories. This makes it stick in your brain. The power of context. What's even cooler is that your brain learns the meaning of words through context. Context is just a fancy word for how words are used in a sentence or story. You don't need to study a long list of vocabulary. You just read. The words come again and again, and your brain starts to remember them. Reading also helps your grammar. You don't need to think, is this present simple or past simple? Your brain sees the patterns again and again, and then one day, you just know. You feel what is right, not because you studied the rule, but because you read it 100 times. Reading helps with spelling too. Think about it. When you see words often, you remember how they look. If you only hear a word, you might know the sentence, but you don't know how to write it. Reading shows you the words over and over, and slowly, you learn how to spell them without even trying. Many people believe that speaking is the most important skill. I understand. Speaking is exciting. It feels active. You feel like you're using the language. But here's the truth. Before you speak well, you need to understand a lot of English. You need something called input. That means you need to hear and read a lot of English before you can speak it easily. Think about a baby. A baby listens for a long time before they say their first words. You are the same. Reading gives you more input than anything else. You can read slowly. You can go back if you don't understand. You don't need to be fast. You don't need to feel shy. The book doesn't laugh at you. The book doesn't say, "That's wrong." It just waits for you. When you read, you also start to think in English. This is important. Many learners always translate in their heads, from their language to English. That takes time. That makes mistakes. But when you read often, you start to feel how English sentences work. Your brain makes faster connections. You start thinking in English, and that changes everything. I had a student named Maria. She was from Brazil. She could speak some English, but it was slow. She always stopped to think. She wanted to speak faster. 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 So I told her, "Try reading." She said, "But I want to speak, not read." Still, she listened. She read a simple story every night before bed. After 2 months, she came to class and spoke faster, with better grammar. She didn't study any grammar, she just read. So yes, reading works, not just for me, not just for one student. It works for everyone who tries it. If you want to improve your vocabulary, grammar, spelling, writing, and even speaking, start reading. You don't have to read a lot. Even 10 minutes a day is enough. But make it a habit. Make it part of your life. Reading is not something extra. It is not something nice to do. It is the foundation, the base of learning English. It is the first step toward thinking, writing, and speaking better English. Now you know why reading is the key. In the next chapter, I'll show you how reading works in your brain and why it helps you learn faster than you think. Chapter 2. What happens in your brain when you read? Now you know. Reading is important. But maybe you're still asking, how does reading help me learn English? What happens inside my brain when I read in English? The answer is simple and amazing. When you read, your brain is doing many things at the same time. You are looking at words. You are thinking about the meaning. You are hearing the sentence in your mind, even if you are reading silently. And slowly, your brain starts to understand how English works, all by itself. Let me explain. When you do grammar exercises, you try to remember rules. This is the past tense. This is the present perfect. I need to put have before the verb. But it's hard. You use your short-term memory. And short-term memory is not strong. You forget things quickly. But when you read a story, you see the same grammar again and again. You are not thinking about the rule. You are just imagining. You are just enjoying the story. But your brain is noticing. It sees the same grammar many times, in many different ways. This is called natural grammar learning. You don't study it. Your brain also starts to remember new words, not just the meaning, but also the spelling, the sound, and the way it is used. When you see a word in one sentence, your brain might not remember it. But when you see it in 10 different stories, your brain says, "Ah, I know this word now." That's called long-term memory. That is how real learning happens. Many people use flashcards. Flashcards can help, but they are not the best way to learn. They are not the best way to remember words, because flashcards are just one word at a time. Your brain doesn't see the word in a sentence. It doesn't feel the meaning. It's just work. But when you read a story, you learn words in real sentences. You learn how native speakers use them. You learn the emotion of the word. You learn the word with context. And that's how your brain remembers it. Your brain also loves patterns. That means it likes when things happen, again and again. When you read stories, the grammar and words repeat. The sentences are similar. Your brain sees the same structure in many different ways. Slowly, without thinking, your brain learns the pattern. Let's say you read this sentence. She didn't go to the party. Maybe later you read, he didn't eat his lunch. And later again, they didn't finish the homework. Your brain starts to think, didn't plus verb. That means something didn't happen. You didn't study it. You just read it. Again and again. This is called comprehensible input. That means you read something that is easy enough to understand, but not too easy. You don't understand every word, but you understand the meaning. You don't feel stress. You don't feel tired. You enjoy it. That's the best kind of learning. When you enjoy reading and you understand the story, your brain is relaxed. And when your brain is relaxed, it learns more. That's why reading is better than tests, better than exercises, better than trying to remember a list of words. Reading is powerful. You are giving your brain thousands of examples of real English. The grammar, the words, the spelling, they all go into your brain. You don't need to remember them. Your brain remembers them for you. Slowly, without pain, without pressure. This is how children learn. They hear words many times. They don't study grammar books. They don't do tests. They just listen and talk and listen and talk. You are doing the same thing, but with reading. That's why reading works. So now you know what reading is, what reading does inside your brain. In the next chapter, we will talk about something very interesting. We will compare reading to traditional learning, to grammar lessons, vocabulary books, and memorizing. You will see why reading is not only easier, but also more powerful than most methods people use. Chapter 3. Reading versus traditional learning. Many students spend years learning English. They go to grammar classes, they study vocabulary lists, they do speaking drills. But still, they cannot speak fluently. Still, they make simple mistakes. Still, they feel nervous when they try to speak. Why? Because they are learning English in the traditional way, the old way, and that way is not enough. Let me tell you about my student, Ahmed. He studied English for 6 years in school. He knew grammar rules. He could do tests very well. But when he came to my class and tried to speak, he couldn't. He said things like, I go, yesterday, market. He knew it was wrong, but he didn't know why. He was frustrated. He said, why can't I speak? I know the grammar. I gave him one piece of advice. Start reading. He didn't believe me at first. I need to speak, not read, he said. But I told him, just try. Read for 15 minutes a day. Choose something easy. Don't use a dictionary. Just enjoy the story. How goals helped me. I set small goals when I was learning. My first goal was to learn 10 new words a week. Then I set a goal to read a book in English. Reaching these goals made me happy. It showed me that I was getting better. So set goals for yourself. They will help you a lot. Review what you learn. It's also good to review what you learn. When you review, you remember things better. Look at your notes. Read your old writings. Listen to the same story again. The more you review, the more you remember. How I reviewed. I used to review my notes every week. I read them over and over. This helped me remember what I learned. It also helped me see how much I had improved. So take time to review. It will help you a lot. Stay positive. Another important thing is to stay positive. Learning a new language can be hard, but if you stay positive, it becomes easier. Believe in yourself. You can do it. When you feel down, when you feel like you're doing something, when you feel down, remember why you started. Keep your goal in mind. I had times when I felt like giving up, but I stayed positive. I told myself that I could do it, and I did. Staying positive helped me a lot, so always stay positive. It will help you reach your goal. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of your life. They are part of learning. Everyone makes them. When you make a mistake, don't feel bad. Learn from it. It will help you get better. Mistakes helped me grow. I made many mistakes when I was learning, but I did not let them stop me. I learned from them and I got better. So don't be afraid of mistakes. They are your best teachers. Enjoy the journey. Lastly, enjoy the journey. Learning English is a journey. It's full of new things to discover. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. The more you enjoy it, the easier it becomes. My joyful learning. When I was learning, I enjoyed every step. I loved learning new words. I loved understanding new stories. Enjoying the journey made it fun, and it helped me learn faster. So enjoy your journey. Make learning English much easier. Surround yourself with English. As we continue on this journey, let's remember another tip. Surround yourself with English. This means trying to be around English as much as you can. Listen to English music, watch English movies, and read English signs. The more you see and hear English, the more you will learn. How I used English around me. I changed the language on my phone to English. At first, it was hard to understand everything, but soon I got used to it. Every time I used my phone, I learned something new. So surround yourself with English. It will help you learn faster. Repeat to remember. Another helpful tip is to repeat. Repetition is very important when learning a new language. When you repeat something, you remember it better. So don't be afraid to go over the same words or sentences again and again. How repetition helped me. I used to repeat words out loud every day. I said them until they became easy to remember. Repeating helped me a lot. It made me more confident. So repeat everything you learn. It will make a big difference. Make learning fun. Sometimes learning can feel boring, but you can make it fun. You can sing songs in English. Singing helps you remember words. Plus, it's a lot of fun. You can also make up little stories with the words you know. This way, learning becomes like a game. My fun learning habits. I used to sing songs in English every morning. It made me happy and ready to learn more. Sometimes I made up funny stories with my new words. This made learning enjoyable. So find ways to make learning fun. It will keep you motivated. Use new words right away. Another tip is to use what you learn right away. When you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence. Use it when you talk or write. The more you use it, the better you remember it. Using beautiful. Once I learned the word beautiful, I used it to describe everything. The sky was beautiful. The flowers were beautiful. Even my breakfast was beautiful. Using the word helped me remember it. So always use what you learn. It will help you remember. Take your time. Also, don't rush. Take your time. Learning English is not a race. It's okay to go slowly. It's okay to take breaks. The most important thing is to keep going. Even just one word a day, you are still learning. Slow but steady. I remember when I was learning, I sometimes felt like I wasn't moving fast enough. But then I realized every little bit counts. Every new word was progress. So don't rush. Take your time and enjoy the process. Keep a journal. It's also good to keep a journal in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, or even your dreams. You practice your English every day. When you do a little every day, you are not only getting better, you are also building strong habits. These habits help you move forward, even on days when you don't feel very strong. Now let's talk about motivation. Many people say, I will study when I feel motivated, or I will exercise when I feel like it. But here's the truth. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited and ready to work, but on other days you feel tired or bored. That's normal. Motivation is like the weather. It changes. Sometimes it's sunny and sometimes it's cloudy. You cannot wait for perfect weather to go outside. In the same way, you cannot wait for motivation to take action. This is where consistency becomes your best friend. Consistency stays, even when motivation leaves. It's about doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It's about keeping your promise to yourself. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do it. You just do it every day because it's a habit. That's how you want to treat your goals too. Make them part of your day. Make them a habit. And that habit will take you far. Let me share a simple story. There was a man who wanted to improve his English. He was very busy with work and family, but he decided to listen to English podcasts every morning for just 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes. Some people told him that's not enough, but he continued. Day after day, week after week. He listened while walking, while cooking, or while cleaning. After a few months, his listening got better. He started understanding more words and sentences. Later, he started speaking with more confidence. He didn't study for hours. He was just consistent. That's what made the difference. You see, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Show up for your goals every day, even in a small way. If you miss a day, it's okay. Just come back the next day. Don't quit. Don't say, I failed. I will try again. Because one small action each day is more powerful than one big action once in a while. So remember this. Consistency is stronger than motivation. Small actions build strong results. If you want to grow in English or in life, don't wait for the perfect time. Start today, keep going tomorrow, and believe that your small steps will lead to big success. That's the real power of consistency. Consistency is not just a good habit. It's a life-changing one. It's a life-changing one. Consistency is not just a good habit. When you are consistent, you give yourself the chance to improve, grow, and succeed. Improve, grow, and succeed. Let's explore the many wonderful benefits of being consistent, not only for learning English, but also for your personal life. First of all, consistency helps you improve your skills and make real progress. Think about any skill you want to learn: reading, writing, speaking English, cooking, driving, or playing the guitar. No one becomes great at these things in just one day. Improvement happens slowly, step by step. When you practice a skill every day, even for a short time, you get better. Your brain learns better. Your hands move faster. Let me ask you, what did you do yesterday? What did you do the day before? And what are you planning to do tomorrow? Still nothing? Still the same? Still waiting for someday? That someday will never come. It's a lie. Your dreams don't care about your excuses. The world doesn't care about your reasons. Only your results matter. Solution: start valuing your hours like gold. Write down your daily plan. Focus on one thing that will push your life forward. Cut 1 hour of social media every day. Use it to read, learn, or grow.